In this video, we'll talk about 3 things that a new rider needs to practice in order to be successful and stay alive. So the first tip I have for you is you always want to be aware of what's going on around you. That car right there, want to pay attention to that. Up here, want to make sure nobody's pulling out, no people walking across. You're paying attention to the road, not just for cars ahead of you. I'm looking in the mirror now to make sure this guy doesn't come up on me too fast. Still have it in gear. And it's a good idea when you come to a stop, check your mirrors. It looks like everything's cool back there. I could put it neutral now if you wanted to, but don't want nobody running into the back of you. So you want to pay attention. Make sure when you come to a stop, everybody's stopping. You want to make sure that the road doesn't have any obstacles, tree branches, leaves, grass clippings. You want to make sure you have enough room between you and the car ahead, so that way it doesn't come as a shock to you, a surprise. You want to be aware of what's going on. And you can't be aware if you have your eyes closed. You can't be aware of what's in front of you if the car is blocking it. Riding in the center of the road, not a good idea. But even being too close to the car ahead of you could be a problem. And why? What if he hits something, a piece of metal, small sheet metal or something, that flies up and hits you in your chest or in your head? You better be wearing a helmet. That's not a good thing. You want to make sure that you're aware of what's going on, and that includes safe following distances. You know, I'm watching the light now. I'm watching that car behind the what's that, Explorer? Just seen the light went, checking everything. You always want to be aware. You want to pay attention to what's going on. Now, when you're being aware, you also cannot be aware if you are looking down here and you have your phone mounted here and you're trying to see what song's up next or whatever the case may be. Having a phone on a motorcycle, it belongs in your pocket, under your seat, in a holster, something. It doesn't belong up there where you can be distracted by it. Just makes sense. So you want to make sure that you keep your phone where it belongs. And when you're out riding, you're riding. Focus on riding, especially if you're new. So awareness covers a lot of things. The next thing we're going to cover is confidence. Once again, when it goes to awareness, we're looking in the mirror, watching that white Explorer, making sure he stops. I still have my turn signal on. Aware, pay attention to your turn signal. Okay, he stops, so we're good. I'm going to put it in neutral. You want to be confident. You want to make sure that you have the skills that you need before you get on a road like this. You know, being aware is great. You're paying attention, making sure this silver Escape comes out and he doesn't try to go across the road or anything that he's not. Just because there's a double yellow line there doesn't mean he's going to abide by it. You know it, I know it. On a motorcycle, though, it's more important that you know it. You need to build the skills that you need before you get out here and try to take on all these cagers. Not much we can do to these cars to hurt them. We can run into them, we might mess their bumper up. If we hit them real hard, we might be able to break their windshield or something with our helmets. So we want to avoid that if at all possible. If a car pulls out all of a sudden, 9 times out of 10, the best thing you can do is power through it. You know, get on that throttle and get out of the way. Power will get you out of trouble. And that's important. So you need to have confidence in what you're doing. Aware of what's going on. You're checking out the roads, all of them. You know, we're coming up here on a little bit of wooded area on the side. What are we looking for? Groundhogs, squirrels, even deer in some places. You want to pay attention. All of our warning signs. We got that truck entering sign. Want to make sure we're paying attention to that too. Riding motorcycles are fun, but it's dangerous. But you can take a lot of the danger away by being aware, being confident. Now, like I just touched on a little bit, you want to make sure that you're an offensive driver or rider. You don't want to sit there and react to what everybody else is doing You know, you want to be scanning ahead, paying attention. I can see all the way up that road now. I see that truck off to the right-hand side. You may not see it now, but you will when it gets closer. And you want to make sure that if you've seen maybe the taillights on this truck, if you've seen the door open, you want to be paying attention to that. And you don't want to be riding in the number 3, you want to be over here in 1. You know, when you go past things like that, you never know. That guy might open his door just as he comes up to you. You got to remember, people who ride cars are not looking for motorcycles, they're looking for other cars. When you're riding, you understand that those guys, more than likely, even if they look at you, they don't even know you're there. And the last thing that you need to be worried about is my buddy gonna call me? Did he just text me? All kinds of stuff like that. It's stupid. You want to make sure that you're paying attention. You know, don't worry about the music. You know, I know it's tempting. I have seen a Bluetooth in my helmet and I listen to music, but when you're first learning, take that out. Do not do that. Pay attention to the road. Once again, slowing down, paying attention to the guy behind me, going through the gears. I'm down in the first gear now, and I'm still watching to make sure that he indeed does stop before I even think about taking it out of gear. Okay, so we seem to be good. Now I'll take it out of gear. Here we go. Another reason to be aware. We're looking for deers here. Deers could be, you know, in those cornfields. I've seen there was a guy walking up here. I don't know if you've seen him. That guy just now seen him, but I seen that guy a while back. Being aware, you got to be aware. Now I seen that guy and I knew there was a potential. I got over in the number 1 lane to make sure I can see all the way up the road. And this guy was riding the way you see the way he's riding, and you have to be aware that maybe he's going to do something because he's on his phone or he's texting. He's not paying attention. So when he does look up and see that guy, he might hit his brakes all of a sudden. He might swerve. He might actually hit the guy, and that guy might be thrown into your path. Well, it's sad that he got hit, but the last thing you want is to go down hitting him, unless you like sliding along the ground. I do not. So, being aware. I would say that's probably the number 1 thing you have to know, or have to do as a new rider, is being aware of your situation, what's going on, the potential hazards. You know, it sounds stupid, but you got to pay attention. I mean, again, I'm looking up there. I'm in the number 1 lane, and mainly because this guy's so far over, I'm paying attention to make sure there's nothing in the road he's going to hit, because, you know, most cars ride in number 1 and 3. He's got his left side and then number 2. So there's possible that he can hit something that's in the middle of the road and throw it up at me. I want to be ready for that. I want to be prepared. Confidence. To build confidence, what you need to do is practice. You know, one of the best things I found that helped me gain confidence and get better at riding in general is to ride in neighborhood areas where the speed limit's relatively low, like 25, and there's plenty of stop signs. Forces you to stop and turn. Don't just go, you know, straight through the intersection. Practice your left turn, practice your right turn, come to a complete stop, put your feet down, and then take off. Go right, you know, immediately turn right, immediately turn left. You know, work on those things, because you'll need them out here. You never know when you're going to have to make you know, you stop and you got to turn. And it's not just that. When you have the knowledge and the ability to, from a stop, make an immediate right without, you know, dragging your feet or losing control of your motorcycle, you have the confidence now that, and the ability pretty much to get out of sticky situations, problems that may arise. You know, say we're riding here in the number 1 lane, and all of a sudden something comes out. Well, boom, you just, you know, quickly lean it over. Now, if it's something that's crossing the road, if you take the motorcycle safety course, you'll know you're going to have to hit that head on and do the best you can to stay up. I've hit some down branches before. I've run into gravel. Let's see, I think I hit some roadkill before. I didn't kill it, but it was there. And one of the things, if you ever come in a situation like that where you hit some roadkill, you want to make sure that you take it easy for a little bit, because you could have some guts and stuff in your tire tread. The last thing you want to do is think you're good, go around a turn, and end up hitting the ground. The things I learned when I was going through driver's ed for when I was a kid for driving a car was the instructor. I don't know if he was some kind of Zen guy or karate guy, I don't really know. But one of the things he said is you have to be a tree. You have to be rigid, but you also have to be able to bend. So, you know, we want to make sure that we're confident and we're doing what we need to do. We're going to stay in this lane. However, this tractor trailer, if he stops paying attention and he starts to come over, I'm going to have to bend. I can't just beat my horn, rev my engine, and, you know, force him somehow to change his direction. Same thing with somebody that's in the same lane as you. If he starts coming over, you've seen all the videos, the hectic road crashes and things like that, where motorcycles sit there, rev their engines up, and they still end up getting hit. Or they come up and they try to smash the mirror. That is not an answer, guys. Revving your engine is not an answer. Now you have a horn that's good to use, but you use it as a preventative measure. Let the people know that you're there. But to sit there and try to say, I'm going to hold my ground against this guy, and you just stay there and you just rev your engine and just try to be as tough as you possibly can. Hey, it don't matter if it's a little old lady in that car. It don't matter if it's a little Ford Fiesta. If she comes over, whether she wants to kill you or not, it doesn't much matter. You're gonna go down, you're gonna lose. So be willing to bend, and it's not worth ruining your ride over because somebody comes and cuts you off. Hey, it happens. If you're aware and you have your confidence and you're driving offensively, you've seen them, you knew it was a possibility, and when he did it, it was a simple reaction on your part that saved both of your days.